Right friends, welcome back to Why and How of 24th week. This is from 12th June to 18th June. Look at the first one. The Bharatiya Janata Party has proposed the name of senior party leader and Bihar Governor Ramnath Kovind as its candidate for the upcoming presidential elections, and Ramnath Kovind is going to become the next president of our country. He is from Kanpur of Uttar Pradesh and he is 71-year-old, and at the time of announcement by BJP, he was Bihar governor and subsequently he resigned, and he was president of BJP Dalit Morcha from 1998 to 2002. He was elected to Rajya Sabha from Uttar Pradesh for 2 terms, 1994-2000 and 2000-2006. So these are the details about Ramnath Kovind. Please do not forget, he is from Kanpur area of Uttar Pradesh. He is going to become the next president, right? And IPO, initial public offer of Central Depository Services India Limited, popularly known as CDSL, got fully subscribed. This news is not that important, but what is important is what is NSDL, what is a CDSL, NSDL, CDSL. These two are the depositories in our country, and NSDL is the largest and this is the second one, Central Depository Services. Initially this was promoted by Bombay Stock Exchange and now the stakeholding is diversified. And you may have a doubt, what is the purpose of depositories? The purpose of depositories is they facilitate the holding of securities in electronic form. So, if I am purchasing shares of Reliance Industries, this CDSL and NSDL, they facilitate holding up the securities or shares in electronic form. So, if I am going and opening a demat account with ICICI Bank, ICICI Bank is intermediary, or you can say depository participant, but actually these securities or shares are held with either NSDL or CDSL. Right friends, this much is enough here. Look at the next one. Lockheed Martin. This is the manufacturer of the world famous F-16 fighter jets. Now this Lockheed Martin signed an agreement with India's Tata Advanced Systems to produce this F-16 fighter jets in our country, and the model that is being offered to India is Block 70. This is the newest and most advanced version of world's most successful combat proven multi-role fighter, and when the manufacturing is done in our country, then there may be chance of exporting these F-16s, because some 3,200 of F-16s are being flown by 26 countries at present, right? Please look into this picture. Let us go ahead. Stanford University scientists have found that using blue-green algae and light to trigger photosynthesis inside the heart could help treat cardiac disease. 3 things are important to know here. First one is, what is this blue-green algae? Then what is the meaning of this cardiac disease? Or you can say there is a cardiac ischemia. Let us look at cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria is a phylum of bacteria that obtain their energy through photosynthesis, or you can say these are the only photosynthetic prokaryotes able to produce oxygen. And you may have a doubt, what is the meaning of prokaryotes? Here you see all the bacteria belongs to a group of organisms which are known as prokaryotes. Prokaryotes, the meaning is before nucleus. So bacteria have no organized nucleus. This is one important point. Cyanobacteria are classified as bacteria but not algae, because its genetic material is not organized into proper nucleus. So this blue-green algae is classified under bacteria because it has got no organized, or you can say membrane bound nucleus. But one difference is there between cyanobacteria and other bacteria. Cyanobacteria has chlorophyll and use the sun as an energy source. So the difference between cyanobacteria and bacteria is cyanobacteria has got chlorophyll and it can use the light as an energy source. So having learnt about cyanobacteria, let us look at the heart disease. This is cardiac ischemia. What is the meaning of cardiac ischemia? This is the disease of the heart where the oxygen supply will be cut off. So here when the oxygen supply is cut off, then the heart is not in a position to pump blood. So during the heart attack, the muscle of the heart is still trying to pump blood. There is a carbon dioxide, but there is no oxygen. So here in this experiment, they tried with photosynthetic bacteria or cyanobacteria or blue-green algae. So by keeping blue-green algae, by using the available carbon dioxide there, it can convert that into oxygen through photosynthesis process, but they are looking at how to give the light source, right friends? Here in this experiment by Stanford scientists, there is blue-green algae or cyanobacteria can be placed in the heart so that it can convert by utilizing available carbon dioxide there by using the light to oxygen, so that oxygen can be utilized by the heart, right? But here the important point which is unsolved is how to take light there, right? This is the experiment of Stanford scientists, and they have done this experiment on anesthetized rats with cardiac disease. So using light to trigger photosynthesis, they were able to increase the flow of oxygen and improve the heart function, right? So this is still in the experimental stage, right friends? Look at the next one. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India has notified norms for fast tracking insolvency resolution process for certain category of debtors. All of you are familiar with normal companies. The insolvency process must be completed within 180 days, whereas for specified categories like small companies, startups, as well as unlisted companies with total assets not exceeding ₹1 crore, the resolution process must be completed within 90 days, extendable by another 45 days. So this is very, very important aspect. Please do not forget. And if you look at the next one, the former German Chancellor Helmut Kohl, who is known as the father of German reunification, died at the age of 87. He was Germany's longest serving post-war Chancellor for around 16 years, and he was the driving force behind the introduction of Euro in place of Dutch mark, and at the same time he was instrumental for Germany reunification, which he achieved after the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. Then please look into this picture. This is the Germany map. And Finland, all of you are familiar with Finland. Finland is a Nordic country. There are 5 Nordic countries. What are they? Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark and Iceland. These 5 are known as Nordic countries towards northern part of Europe. And another important aspect is it introduced universal basic income concept, you can say. It has selected 2000 unemployed people. They are being paid €560 every month under 2-year universal basic income experiment. And now it is tracking data and the outcomes of this experiment. Here one important aspect to study is if many people take up jobs, then The assumption will be that universal basic income will not be disincentive to employment. So, even with universal basic income also, people will take up employment. That notion will be ratified after this survey if people take up jobs, right? You may have a doubt what is meant by universal basic income. It is meant to be paid to all the people in a country without conditions whether rich or poor or employed or unemployed. So, please do not forget about Finland when somebody is talking about this implementation of universal basic income on experimental basis for 2000 unemployed youth at €560 per month. Look at the next one. Switzerland ratified automatic exchange of financial account information with India, 40 other jurisdictions to facilitate immediate sharing of details on suspected black money. And please do not forget, this is with regard to strict confidentiality and data security. Switzerland stated that it must be strictly confidential and data security must be ensured. And please do not forget this AEOI, this is the global convention for automatic exchange of information on tax related matters, and the Switzerland stated that it is planning this exchange of information, and first set of data will be exchanged in 2019. So, this automatic exchange of information is introduced under the guidance of G20, OECD and other global organizations. Please do not forget, ISRO is preparing to launch a backup for IRNSS-1A. Please do not forget, 7 satellites were launched, and these 7 satellites are known as Navigation Indian Constellation. Please do not forget, this IRNSS series, 7 satellites were launched. These 7 are known as Navigation Indian Constellation or NAVIC. So, these are multi-purpose satellite based positioning system, and one important aspect is these 7 satellites, or you can say NAVIC. NAVIC is emphasized as India's alternative to American GPS, but the basic problem is all the 3 rubidium clocks have stopped functioning in IRNSS-1A. All the 3 rubidium atomic clocks have stopped functioning in IRNSS-1A, the first in the series of 7 satellites. Now, the Space Research Organization is trying to replace IRNSS-1A with the launch of IRNSS-1H, so as to operationalize our own navigation system just like GPS, right? So, this is all about IRNSS-1A and its problems. And if you look at the next one, CPI inflation eased to its lowest level since the center began measuring it on nationwide basis with the base year of 2011-12, and it recorded 2.18%. And another important aspect is food and beverages category. This is around 46% or so in the total overall CPI index, and this recorded contraction of 0.2%. So, it reflects the crisis in farming sector because farmers across the country are facing decline in prices for several commodities because of bumper harvest in 2016-17. Look into the next one. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank AIIB will hold its 3rd annual board meeting in 2018 in Mumbai. So, next annual board meeting will be held in Mumbai. This is one important aspect. And AIIB is the multilateral lender. Please do not forget, it is based in Beijing, China, and India is the 2nd largest shareholder after China. And recently the bank approved $150 million equity investment loan to the India Infrastructure Fund. Right, this is the bank's first such loan to fund private projects. Look into the next one. NITI Aayog will set up 1000 Atal Tinkering Labs in various schools under mission mode. And what is this Atal Tinkering Lab? Atal Tinkering Labs are established under Atal Innovation Mission, and here for the establishment of Atal Tinkering Lab, rupees 10 lakhs will be given as one-time assistance, and during the next 5 years for running the lab, rupees 10 lakh grant will be given. And what is the purpose of Atal Tinkering Lab? Atal Tinkering Lab purpose is to develop scientific innovation in the young minds. That's why these are proposed to be established in the schools, right? Look into the next one. Indian Space Research Organization has progressed to the testing of subsystems in the development of semi-cryogenic engine for rockets with heavy payload capacity. And now all of you are familiar with GSLV Mark III. GSLV Mark III can place the satellite with the payload of around 4 tons, and the proposed experiment will enhance the placement of satellites with the payload of 4 to 6 tons. So, the payload capacity of the rocket will increase from 4 tons to 6 tons. And you may have a doubt, what is a semi-cryogenic engine? This use combination of liquid oxygen and refined kerosene. Refined kerosene is Isrosine, please do not forget. So, liquid oxygen and refined kerosene, these are used as propellants, and the first flight test is expected in 2021, and this is one of the options before ISRO to replace the liquid core engine of GSLV Mark III with the semi-cryogenic engine to boost the payload capacity of the rocket from 4 tons to 6 tons. So, please understand, GSLV Mark III can place the satellites up to 4 ton payload, whereas the semi-cryogenic engine by using liquid oxygen and refined kerosene, which is known as Isrosine, can place the satellites with 6 ton payload, right? Then Darjeeling is on the boil again with the outbreak of violence subsequent to the government's decision to make Bengali compulsory in schools. Subsequently, government taken back the decision, but the agitations are continuing in Gorkhaland region. The Gorkha Janamukti Morcha or GJM took exception to the decision of the West Bengal government to make Bengali compulsory in all the schools, and subsequently, though the government withdrew the decision, but the agitations are continuing. If you look at the issue of Gorkhaland, the demand is a very old demand for Gorkhaland, and if you go back to the recent history, in 1980, GNLF demanded a separate state of Gorkhaland, and subsequently violence erupted, and ultimately Darjeeling Gorkha Hill Council was formed, and more recently in place of Gorkha Hill Council, this Gorkhaland Territorial Administration was formed, and more recently in place of Gorkha Hill Council, this Gorkhaland Territorial Administration was formed in 2011, and now Gorkha Janamukti Morcha led by Bimal Gurung is spearheading the agitation. So, now Gorkha Janamukti Morcha led by Bimal Gurung is spearheading the agitation, and these things please do not forget. Privatization of Air India is gathering momentum. We have seen the debt of Air India is around 52,000 crores of rupees, and in view of huge debt, now NITI Aayog strongly recommended for selling the entire stake of Air India, and now there are news reports that Tata is in talks with the union government, and please do not forget Tata Sons set up Tata Airlines in 1932, and in the year 1946 Tata Airlines was renamed as Air India, and this was nationalized in 1953. right? So at present Air India has got a fleet of 118 aircraft, and we have seen in the previous lectures the present share in the air traffic is just 14% by Air India, but its total debt is rupees 52,000 crores. That is the worry for the government. Karnataka government announced crop loan waiver of up to rupees 50,000 per farmer, and one state after the other, because of farmers' agitations across the country, are resorting to farm loan waivers. First it was Uttar Pradesh, followed by Maharashtra, Punjab, and now Karnataka. Look into the next one. RBI announced that it will direct the banks to begin insolvency proceedings on 12 borrowers. 12 big borrowers account for, that means I am talking about the defaulters, the loans which became non-performing assets. The 12 big non-performing assets account for total 25% of total bad loans, and now Reserve Bank of India stated, please start insolvency process. So the internal committee of Reserve Bank of India identified 12 NPAs for quick resolution out of 500 bank defaults, right? Recently an ordinance was promulgated giving more powers to Reserve Bank of India, and not only that, there is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India is there. So under these circumstances, government is trying to solve the resolution as early as possible, right? So here an important outcome of this move is that when this is to be resolved under the Bankruptcy Act, then the time frame stipulated is 6 months, which can be extendable by another 3 months. But the problem is, this bankruptcy law is quite new. It was not tested previously. It is of recent origin, and what result it will give, no one is sure. Then the second point is, banks' gross NPAs are 7.11 lakh crores, whereas the top 12 account for rupees 1.75 lakh crores. So top defaulters, some of the top defaulters, I have given the logos here. Then if you go further, as per the Global Adult Tobacco Survey, tobacco use is falling both because of higher tax and pictorial warnings. And here the survey, this Global Adult Tobacco Survey, this is conducted under the technical guidance of World Health Organization, and during the past 7 years, if you compare it with the previous survey with the present survey, the present survey is the second survey, GATS 2, and previous survey, GATS 1, was held in 2009-10. So there are interesting features. One is the number of users reduced by 81 lakh in 7 years. Second one is there is a 6% reduction in the smokers. In 2009-10, it was 34%. In 2016-17, 28%. There is a reduction of 6%. Not only that, there is relative reduction is high among the younger population. It reduced 33% among the population of 15 to 24 years, and the reduction is 54% among minor children, that is 15 to 17 years. And please do not forget, this survey takes into account the population above 15 years. And another important development is there is an increase of 1 year in the mean age of initiation of tobacco use. Previously, the mean age of initiation of tobacco use was 17.9 years, or you can say 18 years, and now it is increased to 18.9 years, or you can say 19 years as per GATS 2. And please do not forget, this survey is undertaken with the technical assistance from World Health Organization, right? BirdLife International, a conservation organization, has recognized 3 new sites in Goa as hot spots for protection. So these 3 sites from examination perspective, please do not forget: Bondla Wildlife Sanctuary, and Navelim Wetlands and Netravali Wildlife Sanctuary. These 3 are recognized as 3 new sites as hotspots for protection. You may have a doubt what is meant by BirdLife International. This is the world's nature conservation partnership. You can say this is the largest world's nature conservation partnership, and there are around 120 BirdLife partners worldwide, each one in each country, and it is independent, environmental, not-for-profit, non-governmental organization, very important, and this allows each partner to maintain its individual national identity with global partnership. And another important aspect is BirdLife partnership has got a combined budget of around $600 million, and Bombay Natural History Society, which is into the conservation of nature, primarily biodiversity, is a member of BirdLife International representing India. This is very important. Right friends, with this let us conclude why and how for the week. Have a nice day. Thank you.